That was quite hot. Let's try again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another live stream. I said that we were going to do another one this week following on, I think it was Tuesday night, Wednesday night maybe, that we done one of these live streams, and I said, you know what, we'll come back and we'll do one more. We'll do a wee preview before the big game tomorrow and get it over and done with, get all of our nerves put out on the table, see where we're all standing, just have a general chit chat. It's the live discussion, the last discussion as well, that we'll have before the game tomorrow. Next time you see me on this channel, we'll either be licking our wounds or we will be effectively champions of Scotland. It is a huge game. One of the biggest games that I can remember in recent memory. Probably one of, if not the biggest game I've ever covered on this channel, to be quite honest. It's been a up and down season, a season that's been full of bumps in the road and times where it hasn't looked optimistic. But we're here. We're at the end of it now. Tomorrow is make or break for Celtic, and it's a game which can effectively decide our fate if we should win 3 in a row or not. So a lot on the line, a lot to break down and discuss. I'm going to basically take your questions for the entirety of tonight's stream. It's a beautiful Friday night, by the way. I've spent some time outside. I've had a couple of pints, not going to lie. Had to warm myself up for the stream. It's a lovely, lovely night. It's absolutely boiling up here in the loft. So I want to be doing this quick and sharp for us all this evening before I start melting live in stream. Because if I don't do it quick and sharp tonight, you'll probably watch me die live on the air. And that's no good for anybody, considering we've all got a game to go to tomorrow, haven't we? Like and subscribe if you haven't. If you're watching this back in video form, then thank you. Like and subscribe as well. We will get all of your comments up on screen as the stream unveils. Brendan Rodgers had his press conference today, the last stop on the road to that derby game tomorrow. Not much revealed in the press conference that changes anything about the derby. The landscape kind of remains the same. It looks as though it's going to be the same situation that we expect to go on it. There's no fresh fitness concerns or injury updates. We've not been given any sort of hints or anything to suggest who might play, start or whatever tomorrow. I think we all basically have an 11 in our heads that will start for Celtic tomorrow, and I think we all kind of agree with that 11 to start tomorrow. I don't think many people kind of stray away from the 11 that kind of picks itself, and we'll talk about that as the stream goes on. I've also spoke about it in last night's podcast, or the podcast that went up this morning for you guys, and of course in videos earlier this week. So we basically know the team that should be playing. I think we're all happy with it. The only thing that really stood out from today's press conference and the comments that are taking all of the headlines is Brendan Rodgers' response to Philippe Clement's outburst surrounding the fun comments. That's kind of went and taking all the headlines. Brendan Rodgers commented on his own comments that annoyed Philippe Clement, saying that anyone who was at my press conference would have sensed how it was said. The reaction to it is totally without merit and has no context whatsoever. I've never referred to these games other than being intense and competitive. The occasion is one of the most iconic in world football, and I love it. It's one of the big reasons I am here. I have great pride and privilege managing Celtic in a Rangers game. The whole feeling among this game is absolutely amazing. I've seen some headlines around the disrespect and whatever else, but it's totally without merit. It was never in that context being said. I would never be that person to disrespect another manager or team. I suppose it's part of the build-up for you guys. Taking a wee shot at some of the journalists in the room that decided to make headlines out of a throwaway comment. And we spoke about this very openly earlier in the week, and we spoke about this being that the throwaway comment that I thought it was. People were making a mountain out of a molehill with Brendan Rodgers' comments in regards to having fun this weekend. There was no need for it to be blown up in the way that it was, and even for some of the Celtic fans who were thinking that Brendan Rodgers was making a comment that could come back to bite him, I never thought that was the case, unless we have barred fun from life itself and the sport of football. This game has always been treated seriously by Brendan Rodgers and his squads, and for anybody in the media to think otherwise, or Philippe Clement to think otherwise, it just comes across to me as general insecurity. And I think that Brendan Rodgers has highlighted that point to a T this afternoon in his press conference, making it very clear that those comments were taken completely out of context and taken without merit. But it's something we can put behind us. It's something that I know is going to be made a big deal of after tomorrow, whether it's Celtic winning or losing or drawing. There's going to be some sort of jab in the media or some sort of jab from one of the teams in regards to the word fun. And it is what it is. You know what? What I care about tomorrow is the result. I couldn't care about the throwaway comments. I couldn't care about the wee daft things. Celtic need to win the game. Celtic need to terrorise Rangers. And we need to get the 3 points and win this league title. Brendan Rodgers and the squad have spoke very openly about the strong mentality within the Celtic camp right now, which is exactly where you want to be and exactly where you want to see your team being in this moment going into this game. So when I hear Callum McGregor talk at press conferences today, and when I hear Liam Scales or whoever talking in the media and the papers throughout the week, I know that there's a good mentality kind of going around the whole squad at the minute, and it fills me with confidence going into tomorrow's game. And I think we should all be excited and optimistic about the result we could potentially get. It will be tough, absolutely. Who knows, tomorrow we could be on here talking about a disaster from Celtic and something that opens up a really cumbersome task for the last couple of games. But I'm feeling good, and we'll see how it goes. Shall we just get into the Q&A? Shall I get into your guys' comments? Should I take your questions and give you my answers? I feel like it's the right way to go about things. It was the whole point in tonight's stream. Tonight's stream wasn't for me to come on and read out headlines and quotes in the media. It was to just get a general feel for how we're all feeling as a support, as a collective heading into what is one of the biggest games. Are you feeling the same pressure that has been piled onto it by, not just the media, but people like myself? Because I do feel like it is the biggest game in recent memory. This is a game that effectively feels like a helicopter Sunday. It might decide if the title was going to Celtic Park or Ibrox. The good thing is for Celtic tomorrow, the pressure is off us a little bit. The pressure is entirely with Rangers. Even if we were to draw tomorrow, we are in a really good position. We could still go on and win this league title. Rangers need to win. They can't leave with a draw. They can't leave with a loss. The pressure is on them. But the pressure is also there for Celtic. We know that. There's no point in treating it as if there's no pressure on our shoulders. It would be different if we were 9 points clear. Then we could sit maybe down and say, even if we were 6 points clear, we could have said the pressure's off Celtic tomorrow afternoon. That's not the case. So there's no point in pretending there's no pressure there whatsoever for Celtic, but for Rangers it's definitely amplified that little bit more, knowing that, a draw for them would still be catastrophic. Celtic would only need to go and get, a point from their last couple of games to go and get the job done and the title sealed. So it's a nice position to be in as a Celtic fan moving into this game. But let's do the Q&A, shall we? Let's take your questions. It's nice to see you all piling in, by the way. 130 viewers on a night like this. What are you all doing? Why are you watching me on a Friday night when the weather's like that outside? Go and get your barbecues on. Go and get your drinks out. God, I feel bad that I've even put this on for you. Where shall we start? Where shall I begin? Thomas, we'll start with Thomas in question. When we win tomorrow, God, confidence. When we win tomorrow, what will be the excuse for their mob? And how big of an outburst will Rangers fans have? We'll just need to wait and see. Depends what happens through the game, doesn't it? We need to see what decisions get made and if the referees have any mistakes. Listen, I'm not going to say when we beat them quite yet, Thomas. I don't want to come across as too confident and maybe arrogant, but there will be excuses. We all know that. Maida on the left, Forrest on the right. Ryan, yes, I think so, Ronan. I think that, as I said, I think the team picks itself. The front three will probably be Forrest, Kyogo, and Maida. I would assume if it's not that as a front three, I would be very surprised, to be quite honest. So I'm fully expecting that to be the front three, as Mark says. Forrest and Dyson is a no-brainer. I don't listen. I like Nicholas Kuhn. I think he's got qualities, but he can definitely come on later in the game to add something if we're missing it. But for now, Forrest and Dyson Maida is absolutely a no-brainer. There's no two ways about it. Which is fine by me. Hello Murray, saying, I don't know if I should be watching the podcast, but would you go with Forrest or Kuhn out wide? Well, I didn't even notice the question you were asking as we've been talking about. Forrest has to. He needs to be rewarded for the form that he's in at the minute. He needs to be given that confidence. The manager's put in him week after week for the last couple of months. Brendan spoke very highly about him, so this is the kind of game where you go out and you show that, and I think that Forrest starting is an absolute no-brainer. It's a Saturday morning here in Thailand. Christ, is it? Happy Saturday. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Jealous that you're in Thailand, Toby. Well, I remain here. Wait, saying that, the weather's good tonight, so you know what? I feel like I'm in fucking Thailand. Murray also saying, I think I've gone through about a million different feelings about the game this week. Brutal stuff, but don't think I'd have it any other way. That's what it's all about. That's what football's all about. If it never gave you these roller coaster of emotions, then it wouldn't be as popular a sport as it is. It's the whole point in it. It's what we live for, the Celtic supporters, of course, and older fans will know better than myself and maybe the younger supporters that watch the podcast and such. But the emotions involved in following Celtic have never been easy. And even when I think back to my childhood, titles would go down to the last game, would go to the last couple of games. So this tomorrow is just, you know, something like that. And it's what you live for. It's the moments that kind of make football. And sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, but it wouldn't be Celtic Football Club without that up and down history, would it? Without those periods of struggle, without those periods of success, it really kind of builds the picture as to what Celtic Football Club's about. And I think tomorrow's just another storied chapter in that existence of the club. Clement red card is on the cards, I'm saying. I wouldn't be stunned. I wouldn't be surprised if any manager was to see red tomorrow, but Brendan keeps himself reserved when he needs to. I know that he's had his moments, but I wouldn't be surprised if Clement was sent to the stands. I just hope it's not drawing going into the last 20 minutes. An early goal would be lovely for Celtic. Honestly, I think if Celtic could get an early goal in the game, we could be in for a fun one, but I wouldn't want it to be drawn going into the last 20, because I think Rangers would probably have the bigger push in them to go and try and find that late goal. I need to scroll down the chat, but you know how this works by now. If I don't answer your questions, just keep putting it in and hopefully get to it over the course of the half hour. If I don't, I do apologise. I don't deliberately try and miss out comments. The chat just flies by very, very quickly. And if I could cover every single one, I would. But thank you to Beam for the $4.99. It's really appreciated. Thank you. If you do want to donate, you can do it through the super chat section. It's always appreciated. But Beam88 saying, need to give everything tomorrow. The weather and the occasion are setting up for a potential all-timer. Just need to win it. There's nothing better than a derby win in the sun. And the feeling of being able to go to Celtic Park in nothing but a Celtic top and shorts is an amazing feeling. And that's the games I remember the most, when you get that, when you can go in a Celtic top and shorts and a pair of shoes. You want your shoes on as well, don't you? So it is setting up for an all-timer tomorrow, isn't it? So I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for the donation, Beam. Hopefully the result goes alongside the occasion as well, because that would be good. We need to win inside 70, says Jim. Not a bad way to analyse it, because I think the last 20 is where Rangers will really need to come to life if they're chasing the game. So make sure we're out of sight by the 70th minute. That would be lovely. I doubt we'll be drawing. Start with the team we started last week, and we'll pump them, says Xander. A lot of confidence in the Celtic support, and I like it. Enjoying the weather? I am. I'm enjoying it. Murray's saying, what about the guy that got cut off in the Super Scoreboard last night? I've not seen it. I don't know. I couldn't comment, Murray. I have literally no idea what happened in the Super Scoreboard last night. So, apologies for my lack of comment towards the matter. And do you think that Dyson will play Undertaker music in the tunnel with Tav? He should. Get the fear of God in him. Tavernier fears him enough. That would just add an extra fear factor to the whole rivalry down that side of the park, wouldn't it? Maida puts the fear in Tavernier, and the Undertaker's music would just enhance it. Joe Hart, 90th minute winner with an overhead kick from his own box. We can dream. We can dream. If we're 4-0 up and we get a penalty, let Joe Hart smack it. Absolutely. His last league derby. Will Baldy show sportsmanship after the game tomorrow by shaking Brendan's hand, or will he go in a huff? I wouldn't listen, if William Hill or Bet365 or whatever agency would like to take bets on it, I would like to put money on him not shaking the hand of Brendan Rodgers tomorrow if it were an option. It just depends how the game goes and how hard done by he feels. But it wouldn't, if he couldn't do it for Don Cowie, and after Brendan Rodgers saying he'll have fun, I think that Clement will probably hold him quite a grudge towards him, to be quite honest. Dyson for player of the year after the roast tab. Hopefully he does tomorrow. I don't see Dyson completing the full 90, but just get that work done in the first half and make Tavernier's life an absolute nightmare. That's all that matters for me. I think we could see maybe Maida coming off 60, 70 minutes in, but leave us in a good position as he leaves the park, and that'll be great. Thomas saying, honestly, I don't see us losing tomorrow. I think we're in too good a form. They are in too poor form with head loss. I haven't seen a worse Rangers head loss. Oh, wow. Been a lot of Rangers head losses over the last few years, right enough, hasn't there? It's hard to start comparing them. But we'll wait and see. He will go in a huff, says Nielsen. Let's see, a Joe Hart header from a corner in the last minute to beat Rangers and win the league is a dream. Yes, it is a dream, and it will remain a dream, sadly. But you know how I'd feel. I'd probably be on the park. So I sit in the second tier, and I would find a way to get in the park to celebrate with Joe Hart. If that was the case. What minute do you think Rangers will get a complimentary penalty? I'll go 62. 62. There you go. There's my guess. 8 of the 11 expected starters have scored against Rangers. Should give us call. That's nuts. So who? If I could try and run through them in my head, who's all scored? Kyogo, obviously, Maida, Forrest, O'Reilly, Hatate, McGregor, Taylor. Who's the 8th? Is it Vickers? There you go. 8. There's your 8. Wow. 8 of the starting 11 tomorrow. So the only ones that haven't is literally Joe Hart, Liam Scales, and Alistair Johnson. That's nuts, isn't it? That's absolutely nuts. So hopefully that takes confidence. Listen, this group of players know how to get the job done against Rangers. They are a confidence. We have not lost to Rangers this season, and tomorrow's not the time to start that. Absolutely not. Tomorrow is not the time to start it. But this group of lads, this group of players know how to get it done, and that feeds confidence through the support. Rightly so, as it should. It's not like we're going into this game blindly confident. It'd be different if Rangers beat us 3 times this season and we headed into this game going, I think we'll win tomorrow. Rangers haven't showed, enough confidence in their side to really come out and beat Celtic. And that could change tomorrow because form goes out the window. Confidence sometimes goes out the window as well. It just depends what happens when the first whistle goes. But, we're going into this game feeling like this for a reason because the team have showed it consistently throughout the campaign that we are the better side in Glasgow. So, Palmer to come on for Dyson as he likes the crowd to do a bit of dancing after Beale rejecting him. Yeah, I'd love a Palmer goal if he wanted to chip in tomorrow. I know he's not really, he's not done much in recent times, but I wouldn't mind it. I don't see it happening though. I think if we play the right team tomorrow, that will beat them off the park easily. Let's do this, says Joseph. Another confident fan, just full of confidence in the comments. I love that. I remember the last derby we headed into, there was a bit of a mixed chat, Don't get complacent. That's the thing. Complacency needs to be discussed heading into games like this, doesn't it? Because we are confident going into it. And the good thing is you keep hearing players like Callum McGregor banging this same drum about how they don't let the outside noise in. And I think that's absolutely fair. And I don't think they should let the outside noise in, because once you do, and once you hear how confident we are as a support right now, that's maybe when the complacency does start to creep in at the team. So don't get complacent in any moment in the game. No matter if you're 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 up, don't take the foot off the gas. And we've seen that at Parkhead last year, at the tail end of the year in the second derby of the season, where Rangers got their goal, Tavernier scored that free kick, and then the ascendancy was with them. They were the ones on that push for the equalising goal, and us as fans in the stadium really had to hold our breath in celebration because we didn't know if Rangers were going to go up and find that equaliser, and that was just because of complacency. We gave away a silly foul, and that's one thing that needs to be eradicated from the team tomorrow, because we've got a habit in doing it in big games, whether it's Europe or derbies, giving away silly fouls that lead to avoidable free kicks, avoidable penalties, whatever, avoidable bookings, and it opens up a box of worms for us. So tomorrow, avoid those moments of complacency, avoid those stupid decisions when it comes to fouls and free kicks, and hopefully we should be able to get through it. That's what I hope to see. Blake, hello, saying every derby this season I've been worried due to Celtic's injuries and form. Rangers still couldn't win, so I'm confident with the strength of the team and of the form that Celtic will win. Absolutely. I mean, you think about it, this is the first derby we've headed into, and we spoke about this in the channel the other day as well. First derby we've headed into this season where fitness has not been an issue for Celtic. We're going in with our strongest 11 available, and it might not be the best Celtic 11 you're ever going to see, but it's definitely the strongest that we have available at this moment in time. So it also adds that boost. There's a Rangers YouTube fan page somewhere right now talking about how they will beat us tomorrow. Well, listen, they can be confident, but I think there's a lot more caution on the side of Rangers at the minute, and rightly so. But obviously there will be a few. And who am I to judge? I'm a prick that does YouTube as well, so I can't say much. What Rangers player worries you? That's a good question. What Rangers player worries you the most about tomorrow, if any? Tavernier, as stinking as we give him it. He is a serial loser, Tavernier. He's overseen, he's been the captain and overseen so much drastic failure over the past decade that it's funny, it's laughable. But when it comes to rising in these games, he seems to do it. He seems to chip in. He's scored Rangers' last 3 goals at Celtic Park. He's dangerous from dead ball situations and free kicks, penalties. If I was to pick anybody, it would simply have to be him. Outside of him, I don't necessarily fear any Rangers player. I think that Dessers is useless. I think their wide players are useless. I don't think that they have a great team. It's all about kind of hoping for the best with Rangers sometimes. I don't necessarily fear anyone in particular. That's just how I feel about the Rangers side at the minute. There's been players over the years that I have feared going into these games, and I don't really feel that at the minute. And I don't mean it in an arrogant way. I'm not saying that they don't have any players that can't make a difference, because they do. They obviously have players that can make a difference. But it's always within that 90. It's not like moving into the game or going, oh, he can be dangerous. For example, they were banging on about Sima earlier in the season, but he's been injured, and there's no guarantee he'll play tomorrow. So I can't even sit and say somebody like Sima. So if I was to pick any, it'd be Tavernier, just purely down to the free kicks. But I don't necessarily fear any. It's just how players play in that 90. At the end of the day, sorry, tried to pull up somebody's comment and it's gone. It's flew off my screen. Aye. Every derby is different. I think the players like McGregor and Forrest realise that whatever happened in the last few matches go out the window. It's about the game at the time. Absolutely, Seedall. There's no denying that. That's a very fair point, a very accurate point as well. I think it's something that the team have realised over the past, since Brendan Rodgers' first tenure as Celtic manager, we've been so successful in these games because I think the players have treated each occasion as a different game, as a different situation, and that's why we've seen so much success in it. So aye, if Rangers score, it'll be from one of our mistakes. All 3 of their goals last game were preventable. I don't want Rangers to score first. If Rangers score first and we create that one uphill battle, then it'll be annoying, it'll be frustrating. Rangers will love it. Rangers will sit deep. I guarantee it. If they get the first goal tomorrow, they'll sit deep and they'll just try and frustrate the life out of Celtic. But on the other side of that, there is a chance that could help Celtic. So I think that, it's all about keeping the head. If they score early on and Rangers do take the lead, there's nothing to fear. Because I think it could suit us, but it's never ideal. It's never ideal. Thank you, Blake, for the £2 donation. Sunscreen tomorrow. Thank you. You're sorting me out. I'm going to need it. I'm already burning up. I was sitting in a beer garden down the road, just one of the locals, for a couple of hours, and look at me. I'm red. So I've got to go down and get some after sun on before I burn up. So thank you for your £2. It's very much appreciated, Blake. I'll make sure to get some sunscreen. Hoping for an early goal, but 3 points is a must. But they have no fans in the ground. Yep, 60,000 Celtic fans cheering on the boys tomorrow. It's never ideal for a Rangers to visit a situation like that. If we can get an early goal tomorrow, then God Almighty, it could be brutal for Rangers, and that's why I hope that we get that. I hope that we get an early goal from Celtic tomorrow. I'm going to wrap it up. I know I'm about 5 minutes earlier than I usually would be when it comes to these live streams, but it's genuinely boiling in here. And if I put the fan on, you won't be able to hear me talk. So I'm going to wrap up just now. I'll be back tomorrow for the post-match reaction. As soon as I can possibly get out of the stadium, I will be there. In case I've seen a couple of people asking, am I going tomorrow? I am going tomorrow. I will be there. So I'll get up the road as soon as I possibly can, and hopefully the atmosphere pushes on the fans tomorrow. Let's replicate what it was like against Hearts last week at Celtic Park. Let's get right behind the team. Let's cheer every single tackle. Let's cheer every single shot. Let's get right behind the boys. Make Joe Hart feel huge. Make the defence feel quality. Make everything feel like such a big deal. Just get right behind the team and put the fear of God in Rangers. That's exactly what we need to do from the first whistle tomorrow. So if you're sitting in this chat, you've got a ticket, get your fucking shouting voice, get your vocal warm-ups done, get it all sorted. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm excited for this game. Hopefully we're coming on talking about Celtic being potentially champions of Scotland, but we'll soon see. So thank you for tuning in this evening. It's all been a pleasure talking to these lads. Thank you for your questions. Enjoy your Friday night. God bless. And I'll see you tomorrow. Hail, hail.